Hey everybody, this is Coach Parker with CoachParker.org. How are you guys doing today? Hey, I had a coach the other day ask me about some player evaluation and drills and how I have guys try out for positions. I don't have anything real specific, so I just did a kind of a quick, PowerPoint here. Almost going to be a kind of a pod pass, not any plays or anything like that. Just kind of talking. So. If you want to just listen in the background, that's fine. So let's jump into player evaluations and tryouts. But first, let's get to some business real quick. Hey, YouTube has really kind of tamped down on subscribers, and if you get more subscribers, you're more popular on YouTube. So if you can subscribe for me and you like the videos and like what I'm doing, please subscribe, and then there's a little notify button there. If you can do that extra step, Google likes that a lot too. That'll be a big help. And that doesn't cost any money to do that, to watch my videos. And of course, if you'd like to buy one of my playbooks, the Power Wing Beast offense or the 6-2 multi-8 defense, those are over at CoachParker.org. So thanks a lot. So let's jump into talking about football evaluations. I wanted to do a podcast video like this this week or next week, so because I just got finished evaluating players for our KYA football draft here in Keller, Texas, and our league gets players, and then we can evaluate all the players that are in our age group through a little kind of agility thing that they do, and then we go through a whole draft. We get to interview the players, but we don't really get to hold our own drills and stuff. Now, in a couple of leagues, I've been able to do my own drills. In select football, you get to like have your own tryouts kind of stuff, and I've done that a couple of times. So I've kind of got some stuff here that's kind of finagled in with each other, but it really kind of goes all hand in hand. So I'll tell you what I look for. So when I've got a player right now, the first thing I like to is, do we have a picture of them? Do I get to meet them in person? I want to see, do they look like a football player? I know that's kind of biased sometimes, and you got to be careful about that. But, do they look like a football player? Do they hold themselves like a football player? Kind of looking at that. The next thing, because, all these youth football, they're by age. We like to get older kids on our team, so we look at that. Weight, height, definitely want to look at that. Speed is a big thing, especially at your skill position, so looking at that quite closely. Quickness and agility, I like a lot of lateral, like a Z drill kind of thing to look at that. So especially for linemen, I like quick feet, so I'm looking for that. A big thing for us is experience. I hate taking rookies unless I have to, so really looking for an experienced player over a non-experienced player. Kind of a big thing, for football, and it's amazing to me because I ask a lot of kids in our KYA tryouts, grass drills, do they want to hit people? Do they like to hit people? And they say no, which is total surprise of why you're out playing football, but that's kind of the big thing. I mean, you get a lot of flag guys that are superstars. They come over to youth football and they don't want to hit anybody and really kind of come duds a little bit. So be careful of that. Can they tackle and block? That's kind of key. Those are the two base building blocks of football. So I like to see if a kid will speak and how he interviews, specifically because that's going to tell me the kid's a leader and is going to listen and is going to hold his attention. A lot of kids are just scatterbrained and stuff, and so I really put a lot of weight on my interview, how the kid's answering. I always do either a pretty hard addition, subtraction question, or I'll do a multiplication question. And it's funny how many kids will just say, well, I don't do math, and I don't like numbers. Well, for us, that's a big thing for me because I'm looking for smart players so I can coach them quickly. So I'm highly aware of that. So the other thing we're looking for specifically is for our evaluation is memory. We play a couple of things for that. Can they remember their plays and assignments? Because that's kind of key. Do they have the right attitude? Do they want to practice? And that comes to attendance record. Have they played other sports? Do they get good grades in school? How's their attendance rate record there? So I like references from coaches and teachers if I can get those on who this kid is. Do they have a good football IQ? Do they know what a guard and a tackle are? Do they know what crash means? Do they know what out of bounds is? So those are interview questions that we go through. Do they have good sportsmanship? Has this player, if he's in our league, do we know he's been a problem with fighting and all that other stuff? Do they have good leadership? Are their parents a pain in the butt, or are they great parents to have on your team? And does this kid play other sports, especially any select sport? Usually a player that has played select soccer and baseball, those are two big kind of major tryout teams, and they understand what it takes to be a select athlete. So those are big pluses for me, especially if a kid is a rookie, is if they played select any sport, specifically baseball travel or soccer kind of travel teams. So I'm kind of looking at that, and that's kind of what I look at when we have our grass drills here. They've got the agility drills, and then we do a lot of homework with other coaches and background and watching tape, and we can kind of put all that history together, even on our little hour-long thing that we have them. And we put that into a spreadsheet, and some mojo comes out, and I'll talk at the end how we do that. Now, if I've got a long time, a couple of weeks or a day, it depends, on what, and I can speed this up, slow this down, kind of what I'm looking for. So here's my drills, kind of tryouts, kind of my what I call Series 1 kind of grouping. And you can try to tone this down if you've only got a day, or if you've got a week or two, you can spread this out and pay a little bit more attention. So these are some of the things, what I call kind of Series 1 cuts of what I'm going to look at. Definitely a 20 and a 40-yard dash is going to tell you a lot of things. I'll either do a Z or an L or some kind of lateral movement drill, dash timed, because I like to get the quick feet thing. It's funny, we had a mid-level 40-yard dash guy was number 1 on a Z drill, and it was really good linebacker. So want to take a look at that. I used to have a sled, a little portable sled, and the one thing the sled told me is whoever could push this sled like 5 yards with this particular weight on it, they were definitely great linemen. So if you've got a sled, take a look at that and kind of do a time distance kind of thing. Run some catching routes, do some routes. You can just catch, and then you want to throw some routes and, 10 to 20 reps there. Same thing with the throws you're wanting to look at. Definitely if you've got some quarterbacks, you might have a whole nother series you move them into, but definitely look at quarterbacks throwing. Look at quarterbacks taking steps, dropping back, handler handing the ball, exchange, under center, in shotgun. Make sure they can speak well enough, get those off, that they're definitely a leader. Get some agility drills like ladder drills or the square box drill or whatever you guys do. Kind of time it if you want to do that. Look at everybody's feet. I like to do push-ups and setups, kind of like the Marines do. How many push-ups and setups can you do in a minute? That'll tell you a lot if the kid's in shape. I like to look at stances in the first, your 2, 3, and 4 point stances. Let me see how you look. I don't want to teach them how to do it. I just want to see if they can get into one. And then we'll play a series of ultimate football, touch football, or the deer hunter chase game. Kind of see who's taking the lead, who's fast, who's quick, who's kind of winning this thing, and get through that. We'll do a memory game, which is the name game, which we go through everybody's name a couple of times, and then we see who can actually name everybody on the team. And it's crazy. That'll tell you who's got the best memory or the smartest kids on your team. Might not be the smartest in grades, but might be the smartest IQ-wise. They might be bored in school, so it's pretty interesting. And you'll find out, like we do, a lot of you guys don't coach up the linemen like need to be, but most of the linemen win a lot of these games, so kind of keep that in mind. If you're really wanting to be tough on them, do a mile run to see who quits, or 2 to 4 100-yard gassers, and you can see who's going to hang around when the going gets tough, or who's ready to quit. And be careful with that. But that'll tell you a lot too. And just look at the age and how long you're going to do it and kind of thing, and kind of get that wrapped up. So that would be my Series 1, and from there I may or may not cut down. Series 2, we kind of go more into like our practice, and this has definitely got pads on, and we're going to do a little bit of hitting here. We'll get into a dynamic warm-up situation. We'll do some of that. I'm looking for a kid that maybe steps up and takes control of the warm-up, so whoever does that kind of thing gets a plus. We'll separate off into we've got a passing pod over here for a couple of centers, quarterbacks, and receivers. They'll go through that, rotate through. But you'll have another maybe just snapping pod, which a bunch of linemen are snapping for under center and gun, and you're kind of looking at what's going on there for centers. And then for linemen, we'll do a blocking box, which is just kind of a king of the hill thing, where they've got to block guys out of this box, and who can do that. We'll set up just a little form tackling, angle tackling dime, and a couple of those, so who can make good tackles and who's not whiffing. We'll do an open field tackle drill to see who can actually track. We may or may not tackle on that, since we haven't been tackling a lot, but we'll actually have them track and kind of thud. We may do a bingo break drill for the linebackers and D-backs to see who can drop into coverage and open their hips right, who's kind of natural at that. If you've got a towel or a rope or a tire, you can do kind of an aggressive tug-of-war game. Do the memory game again. Another aggressive deal is we have like Roman Greco wrestling, where they're on the ground, can't get up, and they basically try to pin somebody. We can do that. You can do this drill is pretty great too. It's the fight over a fumble ball drill. You just throw the ball out, two guys go get it, and they fight to try to get there, and then keep the ball and try to get back. And so what I'm looking for in these is just highly aggressive kids that are willing to hit people. And then we may go over and show them one offensive formation and one defensive formation here. So you could start cutting some people down probably here after this area, because you're going to see who really wants to hit with pads on and who's aggressive. Or you may want to try to hold up to what I call kind of Series 3, and this is going to be kind of a scrimmage or a half line or a small big Oklahoma thing. You may have a 4-back shuffle blocker drill kind of thing with your backs and linemen. You want to kind of get into a half line scrimmage, a full line scrimmage kind of thing. You may do a 7-on-7 game with your backs and some D-backs and receivers and quarterbacks to see if you've got older kids, to see where that goes. And of course, you probably want to go into some, and that might be Series 4. After you do kind of another Series 2/3 again, is you go into a full live scrimmage with all of your guys and do 20 plays to 40 plays and kind of look at where they're at, and then make some kind of cuts from there. But that's kind of that. So, and then kind of final evaluations as we come out. I have a spreadsheet that's probably got 20 items that I grade out and put that and add it all together, and it's kind of a magic mojo thing that really kind of focuses me down, and it takes into a lot of consideration speed, age, and weight, and then if they have had a coach's referral and have experience, and then I kind of add and if they like to hit, and then it kind of adds in from there, and then how they grade it out on the evals. But what we'll do is, I like to review each position and where I'm going to put these guys, and do I have a guy in that slot. I really want to know fairly quickly, really, is quarterback, tailback, and center on offense, and do I have those and where I'm going to get those from, or am I going to have to train somebody, or do I need to go recruit? But I really want to figure that out fairly quickly, and possibly I consider my DNs outside linebackers. So I'm kind of looking for linebackers too, 4 to 6 of them. So I'm looking for that. And then when you're looking at these players, they'll grade out through your spreadsheet, and then you've got to kind of go in there and look at, hone it, where you're going to put them in your rank or kind of how you want. I really start looking at how bad do I want them on my team. Usually when I meet these guys and go through the interview process and they say they popped out a good score on the spreadsheet, I'm really starting to look at, do I really want this kid? Is this a kid that when I saw him and I saw him in drills, and is that a guy I want to coach? Is he coachable to me? Do I really want him? Is he going to fit in that position for me? And so I started to, it's like a feeling, a gut that I get. I'm sure you guys do it too. So there you go. The other, it's a big thing, and this will sort that out on the spreadsheet for me. But you really got to look at it, because football at the end of the day is a highly aggressive sport. And do they really want to wrestle and hit and get banged around? And can they do that a full game? Especially at this youth level, some of these kids just, especially at rec, they're not interested in do that. So where are they with that? And so you got to determine, do they want to hit? And for you guys that may just get kids placed on your team, you need to find out, do they want to hit? Can they hit? Will they learn to hit? And if they're not, then maybe they're separated into your MPP group, and they're in their, they start learning how to do all that with another coach as you move your more experienced players away. You want to see, after you kind of get all that, and you go know a guy you want, he hits, as you went through this or practices or your tryouts, are they your better blockers and tacklers? And from there you can start putting people in positions. Highly aggressive tacklers, well, there's defense. Not so aggressive people, but they can block. There's kind of offensive players. So sometimes a good offensive player really is, not a great tackler. So, but I've had great offensive centers that could play center real well, love to block, but really had no desire to play defensive tackle or nose guard. So you got to kind of look at that. Your team might not have enough spots to be able to have that, but maybe it does. We're really big. The coach and I that I've been coaching with since about 2009 now, we're really big on football IQ and your memory, and we like smarter kids over maybe just the fastest kid and most athletic kid out there. We want to make sure that they've got a good football IQ and good memory, and they're smart. So, because we know we put in a lot of stuff and do a lot of crazy stuff, and we want our kids to be able to remember that. And it's great. We push our kids, and we expect them to do that. You'll find that it's interesting that they can learn it. And so, and then you got all your drill grades. You'll look back specifically if you had a drill specifically for linebackers, specifically for linemen. Offensive, defensive linemen, I like to look at the sled thing. Basically, can they move people out of the way? Linebackers, I like that 4-back shuffle and bingo break drill. Quarterbacks, definitely the 7-on-7 game. The drop back. Centers, you got the shotgun snap. So you get all those grades, and you grade it out, and you start putting kids. I start putting 3 kids in each position, 3 or 4, and saying, okay, who's the backup? Who could do this if this kid gets hurt? Where do we need this to go? Definitely speed and quickness. Speed kills. So you really want the heaviest, quickest kids, oldest kids that you could get. So, that's kind of where that is. Experience at a position, always. I'm looking for that. That helps grade out pretty high. When I talk to the kid, and this gets back to I really want them, did they have a good interview with me? And I know a lot of coaches, they'll go through some of these evals and not have every coach or every main coach talk to the player. We have every main coach talk to our player. It's usually 2 or 3 of us, and each of us will talk to the same player and ask a little bit like the similar question but some difference. And it's interesting. Each of us will find little tidbits. A couple of years ago, I found out this kid scored 20 touchdowns Nobody else had found that out. And this kid, his senior season for us, we'd had him like 4 years, was crazy good. So, make sure you kind of you do that, and you go the full effort for that. We're really big on coaches' referrals. Have they played this position before? Were they good on both offense and defense and things like that? So we're real particular about experienced players with referrals, especially in our top starting picks or players that we want. We're really trying to get a core for our rec team, a core 8 to 9 guys. Our teams usually consist of about 17 kids, and then you've got more kind of rec type non-experienced players. So you really try to draft and grade out and recruit really 8 top kids, and if you can keep those, that's really what you're trying to do. So hopefully this video is a quick intro into kind of my brain on what I'm looking for in players, and then my final evaluations, and going through that. Like I said, I have a spreadsheet that I basically, everything I wanted to grade has a grade for it. It adds it all up. It's highly weighted toward experience, age, weight, and speed, quickness. And there's a force equation that I use if you want to go find that out. I'm not going to give it to you, but I kind of add that all in, and that'll really give me a real great first pass of where I need to go. And then, of course, we go back and do a complete breakdown of every player and review, and then order them individually, not based on the computer sort. So that's it. So hope you enjoyed this video on tryouts and player evaluations. Hopefully you did. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, you know what you can do down below. Hey, please subscribe to the channel. That's a big help to us, and hit that notify button right there by the channel. Costs you nothing. You can also make a bunch of comments. Trying to get some t-shirts here printed up soon, and if you make a comment, you may get a t-shirt. I don't know. I'm trying to figure how that works out with YouTube, so trying to figure that one out. If you want to share the video, please do. Hey, if you really want to support me, head over to coachparker.org. You can check out one of my playbooks, the Power Wing Beast Offense, or the 6'2 Multi-8 Youth Football Defense. They're doing real well. The books are selling real well, and once you buy those books, you have any questions, you pretty much can email me anytime you want to get some answers on that. So once again, this is Coach Parker with CoachParker.org. Thanks for joining me today. Remember to play for fun, and winning is funner. Ciao. See you guys next time. Good luck this season.